Hi there, David Rakovich, President of Stockton Maritime Museum with our summer 2025 update. If you recall in our last video, I came walking down this ramp here to show you the new gangway we had just installed, and boy have we been busy since late November when that last video was updated. So I'm here on the fantail and to show you this biggest new addition we've just completed, and that's this beautiful awning. We fabricated and installed. We just got this thing installed here in the last few weeks. If you recall from our earlier video, we had a memorial service out here for a great supporter and friend of the Lucid here, Commander Jesse DeLoach. We had a memorial service out here last April, and we had 50 to 70 people out here, friends and family, gathered on the fantail. And it gave us the idea we should enclose this so we could use this year round. This was designed to look similar to the original Navy awning that these ships were built with. They weren't left up permanently. They were designed to be installed and taken down as needed. And you could see in the photo here what the original awning looked like on the Lucid. It started from the O2 deck and came down here onto the main deck. Okay, the main difference between this and the original awning that were on these ships is they were held up with basically tent poles, and they were designed to be installed and taken down over a period of a few days. Because we're going to leave this up year round, we fabricated these trusses, and the students here at the school, along with some of our volunteers, spent weeks. They bent these trusses on a little hand brake and welded them all together. Mike and Richard spent months welding this all together, and this is a pretty solid structure now that we're going to be able to leave up year round. So it's going to be the nicest, or the largest enclosed covered space we have on the ship for large functions. In addition to this, we finally acquired and installed these hatches here on the fantail. This one goes down into the minesweeper locker. We have another one here for emergency steering and another one here for another gear locker. We acquired these at a salvage company down in San Diego last year. And these are almost identical to what was here originally. Okay, here we are in the port passageway in officer's country on the main deck at the officer's head. We're going to make this the women's restroom, which has just been restored. New tile floor installed by Jack Frost. Spent a number of days here last fall doing this with all new lavatory and toilet all now installed. Just waiting for the final plumbing hookup. All the water lines have been installed. And our new power supply, that's our 480 three-phase 200 amp power supply, a permanent power supply that feeds through the hull right at the quarterdeck. And we'll be able to feed the ship from either side once we move downtown and we turn the ship once or twice a year. Okay, now we're up on the O2 level on the starboard side, right outside the pilot house where we've got a lot going on. Been working up here all spring. We've got our first searchlight mounted up here, 12-inch, and our antenna mount. This large mount here above me holds a 35-foot whip antenna, one on either side of the pilot house. And in our last video, we talked about the wing platform here that was reconstructed. Our volunteer, Richard, made the handrail for it, and we have the repeater now mounted. And above that is our little antenna. It's referred to as the Eggbeater. That is actually the satellite communication antenna that these ships had starting about in the late 80s, early 90s. In addition to that, these bulkheads have all been refinished. We've had volunteers here all summer scraping, sanding, and painting. And one at a time, we're knocking out these bulkheads. As you recall, we did the port side, we finished the port side last year, because that's a highly visible side. And now we're getting over here to the starboard side. And we're getting down to the interior surfaces of these bulkheads here. You can see the volunteers are scraping and sanding off an accumulation of 70 years of paint. Okay, we made our way up to the 03 level. We're on the starboard side here, and I want to talk to you about a trip we recently made to Bremerton, Washington. Richard, Brad, and myself were able to go up to the Bremerton Naval Shipyard in February and spend 4 days up there freezing our rear ends off, acquiring much needed gear on a strip trip. The Navy lets us do this every once in a while. They haven't held any in the last couple of years, so we had the opportunity this year to go. And some of the cool gear that we got, we'll show you in photos here, but while we're up here on the 03 level, we were able to acquire the necessary hardware for our flag bag. We had the flag bag, the box here. This is original to the Lucid, but we had none of the hardware. The ship we were on happened to have the exact right size, so we were able to acquire this gear here. And Claire, Craig, and a couple Navy chiefs, active duty, no, they were reserve chiefs, spent several weekends dismantling this and polishing all the stainless steel back up and reassembling it. So it really looks nice. Eventually we'll have a cover made for this, and we'll actually store our signal flags in here. In addition to the flag bag hardware, we got some much needed firefighting gear, several of the 480 volt compartment heaters, a Navy ice maker and coffee maker, officers' chairs, several ladders for the scuttles, and most importantly, a degaussing control panel that'll be up in the pilot house that controls the amperage in the degaussing system. Okay, we're up in forward berthing. We haven't been here for a while, but I wanted to talk about an open house we held, our spring open house we had back in April. Very well attended. We had 300 people show up on a Saturday. So we're scheduling another one for either late September or early October. The date hasn't been selected yet, but keep an eye out on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and we'll make plenty of prior notice for that, because we've had quite a few people come from all over the country to see the ship. And one of the cool things that we did for this last open house is we set up a new display here in forward berthing. And we've been collecting jumpers and dungarees from sailors who served on minesweepers. We've got quite a few of the rates here from that would have served on the Lucid, or any MSO for that matter. And in addition to these that you could see on the screen, we have them identified. We have the rates and the ratings identified. There's a few that we're still looking for. So you minesweep sailors out there, we're looking for a bosun's mate jumper, an electrician's, which is ET, the bosun mate is BM, a gunner's mate, GM, fireman, FN, commissary man, CS, and a mineman, NM. Some of these rates, of course, have changed over the years from the 50s through the 90s when these ships were in service. A lot of these things have changed. But if you have any of those that I mentioned, once again, bosun's mate, electrician, gunner's mate, fireman, commissary man, or mineman, either in the blue or the white, and you're no longer wearing it, we'd love to have it, and we'll put your name on it and add it to our display here. We'd like to have a rate for every rate that would have served on an MSO. Okay, here we are back down in the officer's wardroom. In addition to all the work that's being done on the ship, we've got two other exciting projects that we're working on. I've touched on these before, but we're working on our development process for our downtown permanent home. And we have some renderings prepared showing where the Lucid will be tied up on the historic downtown Stockton waterfront along these beautiful promenades that the city installed a number of years ago. It's going to include a reproduction of the Kohlberg building. This is a famous old building that stood here in Stockton for about 100 years. It no longer exists. But this is going to be our shop and display area and a classroom on the ground floor. And the second story, there's going to be a 5,000 square foot room up there that we're going to be able to use for special events and functions and utilize it as a revenue stream, renting it out to people. It's going to have a beautiful dock on the, a deck on the back that opens up to the waterway It's going to be quite an addition to our downtown waterfront. And here's an overall view of the entire site. This is what we're working on now with a grant that we received from the state of California, from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta Conservancy. They gave us a planning grant. We can't use any of this money in the restoration of the ship. It's only for planning, architecture, permitting, engineering on the development of the site. Once we get that completed and permits are granted, then we're going to apply for another grant. Implementation grant is what they call it, so we could actually build this out. But in the overall, the grand view of here, you can see the ship tied up at this is right at Weber Point, and right across from this on the waterway is the arena, the ballpark, and the University Plaza Hotel. Just a beautiful site downtown. And this is an access building here. This building is going to have elevators and stairs in it, where you'll be able to go to the second story and then walk out onto a gangway directly onto the quarterdeck of the Lucid. There's another walkway from the second story here that takes you over to the meeting room here above the old Kohlberg, the reproduction of the Kohlberg Shipyard building. So you're going to get onto the ship by actually crossing over the top of this promenade level. This is the property here that we own. We own 1.5 acres here behind the promenade along the waterway, but we cannot encumber or interfere with this passageway at all because this is public property. So it doesn't show it in this rendering, but from that 2-story building, there's going to be a catwalk here that'll bring it right to the quarterdeck, and we'll be able to secure the ship that way because unless you're on our property, you have no way to get out to the Lucid. So this process is moving along. We're submitting plans for preliminary review to the city right now. It's a long, drawn-out process. This will probably take another year to complete, but it's moving along. The other thing we're doing is, it's a project we've been working on for a number of years. We've learned that there is an MSO still in commission, believe it or not, in Taiwan. We sold the Taiwanese Navy 3 MSOs in 1995 as the last of ours were being retired. And they acquired the USS Implicit, which is the 455, a sister ship to the Lucid. They've been operating it since 1995. And now that ship is 71 years old, believe it or not. It's still in operation. Don, the chairman of our board, and myself were able to go visit the Taiwanese Navy in December. That took us, we've been working on this for 2 years. It took us 2 years to find someone that would agree to meet with us on this. And the Taiwanese Navy officials could not have been more helpful or pleasant to us when we visited. We met with the Chief of Naval Operations at the Naval Headquarters in Taipei. And the next day we took their high-speed train down to Kaohsiung, which is our main Navy base at the south end of Taiwan, where we were able to visit the ship, its officers, and enlisted men who gave us a tour. And it was incredible to see one of these ships it's completely original. The ship had never gone through a Fram. Interestingly enough, it was updated with the Waukesha engines, but it had not been extended like the Lucid was here with the enlarged compartments. Other than the engines, all the gear on it's original. And the Navy was very receptive to our ideas. So we are making a proposal through the Navy History and Heritage Command that's well on its way to retrieve parts from this ship when it is eventually decommissioned here. The 1st of July, the ship will be decommissioned and then held for us until we could remove these parts that we want. These photos we're showing on the screen here are some of the gear that we're looking for. Because the ship is so complete, we were excited to see all the original gear that we don't have specific to minesweepers that we're not going to get anywhere else, such as the lee helm. This control console controls the speed of the propellers, because remember these ships were constant speed. The engines were run at a constant speed, and the propeller pitch is what was varied to control speed forward or aft. Engine control consoles. These are the consoles that go down the engine control room. Each console controls 2 of the main propulsion engines. All the sweep gear that's still on the deck. Depressors, the noisemakers, magtail sections. We don't have any of that sections, I should say, magtail sections. The cranes that go right on the stern of the ship. There's 2 cranes that are used to lower this gear into the water, plus a lot of other gear, including the original anchors and anchor chains, which are all made out of Manel. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get this gear. The project's moving forward. I don't foresee any problems acquiring it. So far, everything's been moving well, but who knows how that's going to shake out. We'll know more here later this summer. But of course, this isn't cheap. This is going to be expensive. We're going to send a team over there, 4 to 5, to help remove this gear, load it in containers, and ship it back to California. So here comes the pitch. You see all the work we completed here on the ship thus far. This is all possible due to the donations of cash and volunteers that come and actually do all this work. So I want to thank you, all of those of you that have been supporting us thus far. And if you haven't started yet, now's a great time to jump in. We'd love to have your contributions or your volunteer efforts to help us get this next project done. It's the last one left in service anywhere in the world, and when it's gone, it'll be gone forever. There's no more of these that are going to be scrapped. So in conclusion, we covered a lot of ground here today, a lot to talk about. I'll start with the open house. Keep an eye open for the date. We'll announce it soon, either late September, early October. We'll be holding a Saturday, possibly a Saturday and a Sunday, depending how the registration goes. We ask people to register ahead of time for the open house. Also, we talked about the jumpers that we're looking for to complete that display. If you have one of those jumpers that we're looking for, we'd love to have you donate it to us. We'll put your name on it and give you proper credit for it, of course. And that can be mailed to Stockton Maritime Museum, 4290 Cherokee Road, Stockton, California, 95215. And if you'd like to support us here, you could do so at the same address. Or, of course, we have the PayPal button on our Facebook page, the donate button. You could just click that button, enter your information. We have a number of people that make automatic monthly donations, $20, $25, $50. You could do that. One click on PayPal, and it's good for a yearly donation every other month, or every month rather. So once again, thank you for sticking with us through the end of this long video. Thank you for your support. If you haven't supported us yet, now would be a great time to jump in. And we look forward to seeing you at our open house this fall. Thank you.